Big Lerf Podcast, talking LRF and more. Hello, and welcome to the Big Lerf Podcast. I'm Ben Bassett, and I'm with Joe Mole.
Hello.
And there's no Richard here today.
No, he's not here.
He's off sick.
Yeah,
He's called in sick. Real shame not to have Rich, but we're sort of making the most of it because the other day I interviewed Maurice Minchinton, and that's going to be on the tail end of this podcast. And I wanted to sort of take an opportunity to have a chat with you, Joe, and talk about, because for me, as much as I would not like to admit to his face, Maurice is a bit of a fishing hero of mine. And I thought we'd just talk about our inspirations on like who's inspired us. And I think it's important that we talk about the people who have done well for us in the past and obviously inspired us.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I've been interested in fishing for years and years now. So it was something that I used to do with friends. Used to go and do that after school basically throughout the summer and things like that, especially when the mackerel were in and that sort of thing. And then it would move on to...
Has that always been a Dawlish?
Yeah. Always been down in Dawlish, And then it was people on TV and stuff like that, like Matt Hayes and...
that's quite an interesting one, because I think TV... I mean, obviously we're the generation that still would have been inspired by TV. I think probably the next young lot would be inspired by YouTube and social media probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like for us, probably like Discovery Shed and that sort of stuff. You used to watch that, and like you'd have all Matt Hayes, Mick Brown, John Wilson was a huge inspiration of mine.
Yeah,
it was just so good, and so one of my favourites for sure. Another sort of heroes I think for me, and obviously I think sometimes your family can be huge influences on you. So like my stepdad Wayne, who's actually Ollie, my brother's dad. And he was probably the biggest influence I had when it comes to fishing. He was his sea fishing knowledge was incredible. He was all bait fishing and stuff. He very rarely used lures, and this is back in the days when people weren't using lures in the same way. But he was the massive inspiration on me, I would say. Was there any family members for you? Was anybody? Yeah,
so my brother fished, things like that as well. So always interested to see what he was doing and things like that as well.
Is that an older brother or a younger?
Older brother, yeah. So he was doing these bits and pieces, kind of freshwater, saltwater and all of that. So got to see a good mix of that one.
Nice. And so who would you say, obviously coming into LRF and stuff, like who's been your main inspirations from there?
So people like Will Pender and stuff like that, and your obvious ones, Andy Mitten, Adam Kirby, people like that, the ones you like find their blogs and things. They're your first step in finding out information and things like that. And with the world of social media now, that you can just follow these guys and stuff like that and
definitely
see what they're up to, and just gives you that bit of inspiration to go out and try
more.
Try what they're doing.
Definitely. And I think I find that particularly my sort of formative days. I was looking at what Andy was doing, particularly with like flounder, and he always seemed to be so technical with like what he was talking about, and obviously still is. And I'll probably embarrass him if he's listening to this, but and Adam Kirby's exactly the same. Very, very technical anglers, like to sort of get down to the real nitty gritty of it. Which I really appreciate. It's not always how I fish, but it's something I appreciate people who do fish that way.
Yes.
Which I really like. And of course, obviously leading into the interview, Maurice. Obviously Maurice is 78 this year, as we speak, obviously in 2023, and has been doing it for a long time. Wasn't like on the first sort of wave of people to start LRF, but has been doing it for longer than I have. And when I first started, he was, even though he's always been quite playful, he was a big inspiration for me, and to sort of drive me on, give me a lot of information. And so we talk about that in the interview, obviously, where I talk about him showing me how to catch garfish and stuff like that, which I'd never thought about trying to catch on lures before, which is really is really good. So you'll listen to that in a bit, and obviously there's I really enjoyed it. And the reason I was interviewing Maurice, although I have interviewed him for my blog before, was because we are putting together the Big Lerf Magazine.
We are indeed. Big news.
Exactly, big news. We've been very, very fortunate in that Grant Jones, the editor of Hook Point, has given us the opportunity to have a magazine within a magazine. And so we're going to have, obviously, the three of us, plus loads of other people going to be getting involved to create this magazine. It's going to be purely lure fishing, but it's going to be freshwater, saltwater, LRF, and bigger lures as well. Just to sort of pretty much the Big Lerf group in a magazine. That's what I want to kind of it to be.
Lots of people are keen so far to take part, aren't they?
Yeah, we've already had like submissions by Kev Benton, who's written about Hartlepool short-span scorpions. I think Lucas might be writing for us. David West Beale.
Will Birch as well.
Will's put himself forward. Tom Barron has as well. So we've got the juniors on this side as well. So the hope is obviously as each issue goes and we'll get better at it and putting it together, we're able to have everybody involved in the LRF scene. So I think that's going to be a massive thing for us.
Be a cool thing to see in print, isn't it?
I just can't wait to see it in print. That's going to be very, very exciting. And I just wanted to sort of talk about that. And we're also nearly halfway at the Big Lerf Winter League as well. Pretty much just gone over halfway, I think. And I mean, we're seeing some crazy totals. I know we say it every time, but I mean, we've got like 6 people, I think, over 30.
Yeah.
That's just really, really crazy. So
for winter fishing. And
and obviously the freshwater, they're doing so well as well. And obviously the juniors. I mean, I think we've got, both Will and Tom are on over 20? Yeah. Yeah, so that's Will Birch, Tom Barron are both doing really well at the top. And then you've got like the young lads like Roscoe, Tom Locke, you've got Ruben Judge as well, who are sort of chasing pack.
Yes.
And
they're really keen, aren't they?
Really keen, and we'd love to see that. And also, I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's bought a ticket for the fundraiser. So the fundraiser tickets are now on sale.
Yeah, they're live.
Yeah, we've already sold over 10 tickets in like a couple of days. So I'm really, really proud of that. I think we're looking like we're going to have a really good amount of people there this time. And just like we have every time, really. It's done really well. And we've had, this time, when you buy a ticket, you get to pick your T-shirt size. Because this time we know that Not Guilty Press, thank you so much, Don, Not Guilty Press, I'll say it every time, for providing a T-shirt for everybody who enters.
Yeah, that's a banging
thing
to get straight away.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Just by turning up, you get a free T-shirt, just by donating to charity, pretty much. So I posted in the Tackling Minds group, so Tackling Minds is who we're raising money for, and they were really, really happy with that, and I'm hoping we might get some people come down actually from them, but I'm not sure yet. But either way, we're going to raise a lot of money for them, I hope.
Yeah, they should get a good chunk of money out of this, shouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we've raised, for the last couple of years, it's been around £1,400 each time. I mean, that's pretty good going, isn't it? So if they get something like that, I'm sure they'll be really happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good. So that's sort of, we've got Big Lerf Winter League, we've got, which is obviously ongoing. We've got the Big Lerf fundraiser, which is coming up. Big Lerf Magazine as well. So it's keeping us busy. Yeah,
we are busy people.
Very, very busy. But we're still finding time to fish. And I think this little sort of catch-up pod that we've got before we lead into Maurice's interview, I thought we'd just finish up really from our little point here, sitting in the car in Brixham, which is what we're currently doing.
Looking at the water.
And we've been fishing today. It's been tough going.
It has. Yes, we came with plans.
Yeah.
Those plans are...
Yeah, but out the window, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're looking at... This is February the 3rd. This is my birthday. And we're just out here. It's me, Joe, and my brother Ollie. And we just thought we'd go for wrasse today. And the water was crystal clear. Looks absolutely lovely, but the wrasse just weren't anywhere to be found.
Just not a touch, was there?
Not on the big lures. No, not at all. And it's taken us a while to get any sort of feeding fish at all. I mean, we're on small tides. The water temperature is quite low for down here, and so it has been slow. But I think we were on the breakwater, trying to stay out of the wind.
Yeah, found a bit of shelter, weren't we?
Yeah, and we found a few fish. I think we've all had the sort of wrasse trinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the gold cinny, ballon, corky. So they're the 3 most common species of wrasse, which is always nice to pick up.
Yeah, this time of year, isn't it? Exactly.
And that's mostly we're using... I'm using snooded drop shot in amongst the boulders. I'm using 2 SSG split shot with a like a line, like a float stop. God, yes. Sorry, I couldn't think of that. Like a float stop underneath to stop it from coming off so easily. Because I was literally just losing too many drop shot weights in amongst the rocks.
It's a snaggy place.
Very expensive. Yeah, what we've been doing is going in amongst the rocks and we're catching that. And then, Joe, you've had a few fish on cheb, I think.
Yes, I've
Your
been
favourite?
fishing mainly chebs. Yeah, love a good cheb.
Yep.
And had a really pretty scorp. Had
That was
those
a
real
stunner.
polka dot colours to the bottom of it, and real gold around the gills and stuff like that.
What did that take?
That was on a cheb with a small section of isomi.
Yeah.
And then a bit later I caught it again. So
Same fish again.
It was a keen one. This one, it was hungry.
I mean, they're ridiculous, aren't they?
Yeah, they don't give up.
No, they really don't. I mean, I don't think scorps even know they're hooked most of the time. They've got no feeling in their mouth at all. You caught them again, and then so I was catching. I found a little gold cinny nest. I was catching loads of gold cinny,
loads of them,
and that was all on the sort of natural gold python worms. That stuff's really, really
they work well.
very soft, and I mean very, very bait-like. Really, it's really good. So I was using that, and just picking out quite a few fish. And Ollie, obviously he's in the Winter League, he's been for some reason caught all the really difficult fish to catch.
Yeah.
And yet couldn't catch all the easy ones. So he's had all the easy ones today, really, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's had the shanny, pout, and the free wrasse. So he's done okay. He's picked up, I think he's on over 30 species now, so he's doing really well.
Yeah, he's caught up, hasn't he?
Yeah, I wanted you to mention a moment you had earlier. We haven't seen any big wrasse, but you hooked one.
Yes, so I switched over, changed lure, and I was bouncing it along.
Which was a
it was the
nano rubber, wasn't it?
Yeah, nano rubber,
Majorcraft
one, and I'd switched the two assist hooks out for a small weedless hook.
Yeah, it's quite a cool little tip, that.
I saw Andy Mitten had posted it on his story. I think someone had done it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll give that a go. Obviously it works, because I was bouncing it along, and the next second it was just that classic zzz, snap, and just...
Yeah, you've never even had a chance.
No, big ballon just come along, just took the whole thing in one go.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the rocks where we're fishing off the breakwater, I mean, even on really heavy gear, I think you would struggle to get a wrasse out of those.
Yeah, they're so snaggy, so sharp, aren't they?
Yeah, so I mean, the wrasse only has to dive down into any sort of the hole. You can just rub the braid on the on the rock. So you'd have to fish like really thick fluoro all the way through to get a decent ballon out of there, I think.
Yeah, you'd have to really bully it.
Yeah, but it's a really interesting spot. It can pick up anything. I think obviously Brixham, it's probably a good opportunity to talk about Brixham, really, because it's something that it's a place that we hold very highly in regards, I think. So all of us, and people come from all over the country now to fish it. Mainly, I think, like Rich and his videos and stuff, I think he's made it so popular.
Yeah.
Because people know what they can get down here. I mean, on any day you can get all the wrasse species pretty much. You've got cuckoo, rock cook, the free wrasse we've already talked about.
Yeah.
Who knows what else is out there in the deep. So you can get those. You've obviously got the 3 species of blenny. There are 4 species. You've got Montagues, ringneck, and obviously tompot and common.
Commons, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got everything else that is here. You've got little gurnards, you've got obviously mackerel. There tends to be, I think in Torbay, there's something about the mackerel tend to be here all year round.
Yeah, they stay here, don't they? And
they do.
Yeah, stay within this bay.
It's a really interesting place, and obviously you've got all the different boulders and stuff. The one thing we will say is that you're not officially supposed to fish the inside of the sort of harbour.
Yeah.
There's sometimes the security and stuff, they will come along and tell you to move on. So it's just best just to be courteous and just move on when that does happen. Maybe just go over to the breakwater, because there's a lot of ground you can fish.
Yeah, you can keep moving here. That breakwater's huge as well.
It's huge. I think it's half a mile long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's massive.
We're looking at it right now. It's a lovely evening for February.
Yeah,
a bit windy today.
Nice.
And that's the thing, you tend to be sheltered here from the southwest winds, so it's a nice place to go when things are a little bit stormy.
Yes.
And that. So one of those places, I think, though the common places that everyone fishes are well known, I think it rewards a bit of thinking about it, ingenuity, checking out new spots.
Yeah, a bit of exploration and stuff.
Definitely, because you can find some incredible fish in here. And I think one last thing to mention about here is it's probably the best place I know to spot seals. There's so many seals here.
Yeah,
and yet
really
it also
healthy.
shows, really healthy population, but it also shows that lots of fish can live in harmony with seals.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously the seals are eating them, but there's enough fish here to sustain them.
Yeah, that you can still go out and catch them without it affecting you.
Yeah, so just one thing to be a little bit aware of when you're reeling in a half-decent wrasse is sometimes the seal will come along and try and nick it.
Yeah.
You have to be pretty careful with that. But Yeah, but so it's only a very short little update one now. The main style of the show really is my interview with Maurice, because obviously I want to just sort of show him. But it's just been great to see everybody's catches so far, again with the Winter League and obviously the build up for the magazine as well. And I hope you enjoy the interview with Maurice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that bit, actually.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, thanks guys.
Right, cheers.
The Big Lerf Podcast, talking LRF and more. 4 years ago, I interviewed Maurice for my blog, and I thought the best way to kick off the interviews planned for our magazine would be to follow that original one up and see what had changed with Britain's oldest Lerfer. And so, hello Maurice.
Hello there.
Okay, it's been 4 years since our last interview.
Right.
Did for my blog.
Time flies.
It does, yeah. So how have you been in that time?
Not too bad, young man.
Good.
Finding it a bit difficult getting about with on boulders and things at my age at the moment, but
Yeah. So how old are you now?
78 in a couple of months.
I was about to say you must be 78 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible you're still getting out there and lerfing.
Yeah, I've been fishing now. This will be my 70th year.
Amazing. So good. And obviously, I know you really well. Fished with you plenty of times, but for those who don't know a lot about you, just a brief bit of background on yourself.
Just started fishing when I was about 8 years old.
Yep.
With like homemade gear, basically.
Yeah.
But I was lucky enough to live by a creek that held a lot of tiny bass in small pools.
Yep.
So they were my first catches as an 8-year-old.
Yes.
Was bass, which some people never caught me till they sort of got to adulthood.
Yeah, it's a great introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was mainly on like freshwater tackle,
Yes.
tiny hooks, and
So
it used
really,
to sell like a paste, it was for trout. It's like a trout paste.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
what I used to use.
As bait.
Or
Yeah.
maddies, yeah.
Yeah. So you dig up the maddies yourself?
Yeah, and Early Creek.
Yeah. So it's all DIY stuff, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get clout off mother because I'm covered in mud when I got home.
I bet. And I think you got into fly fishing and things, didn't you?
Yeah, I was into fly fishing, but in a big way at one time. Reservoirs, rivers, across Dartmoor.
Yeah.
Even as far as saving up many years ago. It was hard going, but we used to do it, me and a mate. Fishing for salmon and sea trout, which was like £100 ticket at the time.
It's a huge amount of money.
Going back in the 70s, it was hard.
Mm.
But I used to do all the overtime, and
That was your passion back then?
Because the passion of fishing, really.
Yeah. And that's obviously got you through all
That's
this
right.
time as well.
And when LRF come about, reason I got into it mainly is because it was a bit of a take on the finesse of fly fishing.
Yes. So it suited you perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it suited, as I was getting older, it was a lot, how can I say, not easier.
Yeah. Well, a lot easier.
But there's a more pleasant way of fishing. You could walk down the road, do it in a harbour next to you. It could be done anywhere, you know.
And obviously, to clarify, so you live in Stonehouse, which is, people don't know Plymouth very well. That's near Mill Bay.
Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes walk.
Yeah, and Mill Bay is quite a famous sort of marina sort of area of Plymouth, and some really I spent a lot of years when I first started off fishing there, and bumping into Maurice quite a lot. And,
yeah, that's right. I think that's how we met.
It is, yeah, which is for better or for worse. Obviously, Maurice pointed me in directions of fish, and sometimes not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good fun. I learned a lot, and so that's the sort of areas. And then I guess you can go off and walk to West Hoe and the rest.
Yeah, we got West Hoe, and then I could just walk along all the seafront.
Yeah.
Massive brass I've had there, over 4 pounds.
Yeah, we've done a little bit of wrestling.
Bass I've had. I don't have to go too far from my door. If I wanted to go a bit further, I'd go to Devil's Point.
Yeah, which makes LRF just perfect.
Yeah, and all the little areas around there, or little side creeks.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Very good. And
because I don't drive, it's
yeah, that's a big thing. Obviously, we talked about before. It's obviously
getting around. I don't drive, so all the shooting down the corn and all that, don't really.
You have to rely on lifts.
Friends do take me there.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about being on my own patch.
Yes. Well, I think no one knows Mill Bay probably better than you, I'd say.
No, it's It's not fished very well this year.
No. But it has at times.
Oh, it has, yeah. Been brilliant.
Yeah, you've had some lovely fish out there, top gurnard and lovely fish.
Yeah, I was catching the gurnards. I looked at some of my photos back in 2014.
Okay, really?
That's before anybody really
was targeting them.
Targeting them.
Yeah. Because obviously now, I mean, they're a commonplace catch, but we, it's obviously still fantastic to catch, but they don't shock us as much as they used to.
No, that's right.
But you've had some lovely ones out there, some really nice fish.
Yeah. Well, the one I had at the end of the competition last year.
Yeah,
was a bit of a beast as well.
It was, yeah.
Unexpected on a metal.
Yeah, well, I say, how did you catch
mid-water.
that? Mid-water?
Yeah.
So it must have come off at the bottom and just hit that. Fantastic. And so obviously you're getting older. I mean, how's your health been over the last 4 years since we last spoke on the interview?
Got problems, lung problems. Which obviously slows me down a bit.
Yeah.
And
but you still,
since last summer, was a little bit of trouble with my feet.
Okay.
But
still
it's like sort of rheumatism. It's all age related.
Wear and tear.
Yeah, you can't go on forever, can you?
No, definitely
without
not.
nothing.
No, we'd like to, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing a great job, to be fair. And yes, I wanted to obviously talk about. Obviously, we've already talked about your LRF journey, really starting it off, and I sort of was interested about what keeps you coming back to it. What was your interest? Like, why is it important to you?
Because it's ever evolving, I don't know anybody alive who says they're an expert. They're not really expert because you can never know everything.
Yeah, true.
It's impossibility.
Yes.
And I like to go on. I used to look at the Japanese websites and see all the different rigs they used to bring out all the time and try to copy them. Of course, the Jersey boys that started it all off in the beginning with their mags. They actually deciphered it from Japanese.
Yeah.
Which I've tried to do. Some of it's quite funny as it translates.
Yeah, the translations
aren't always a lot of swear words seem to come up.
Yeah, it's not so easy on the translation, but it's it's fascinating, endlessly fascinating. And I said, everyone who's over in Japan who have gone before us and deciphering all of that is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just do it our own way.
As we said, we were talking on the sort of car drive over here.
Yeah.
Sort of saying that the UK LRF scene has kind of taken on a load of stuff from all over the place. And a lot of that is the Japanese, but also from other places as well. So, obviously, going to yourself. So, what setups do you currently fish with, and why? So, what's your favourite? What are you fishing with tonight?
Agido, 5 gram.
5 gram, yeah. What's that paired with? What's that paired with, reel wise?
Oh, that's a Bamford 2000.
Yeah, 2000 size.
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer 2000 size reels.
Okay. Yeah. What's the reason?
Just you get a better capacity. Is it the bigger spool?
Yeah. Just
especially if you use ester, it's a bigger spool's better.
Yeah. Interesting. No, that's good. And
well, that's what I'm saying. But everybody's got their own views.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I use
you only got a 500, haven't you?
Yeah, which I really like. But again, I could see why the But I do think I use the 500, but I actually think the 1000 is smoother.
Yeah.
So probably the 2000 would be even smoother. So
yeah.
But I can't afford that.
It's just the coils of line, the size of line, and especially you've got shallow spool as well. It's ideal.
Definitely. And so you've got, what sort of braid do you use? Do you tend to use?
Through the years, I've gone through several different ones. J braid, I always come back to for some reason.
Yeah.
Seems to suit what I do.
Yeah, it's quite fairly reliable.
Either in the 8X or 4X.
Okay.
Depends what you want to do.
Yeah.
But Dangan braid I've had in the past.
Yeah.
I use a lot of Suffolks.
Yeah.
Nano braid, which is probably my favourite.
I think
for
I've
the
heard you talk
finesse
about
side
that.
of it.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that.
The only sad thing with it only comes in 100 metres.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you took it a lot.
Yeah.
No, that's fair enough. And so you're using this. You also use ester as well sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
What ester do you use?
Barivast Red Eye, it's called.
Yes.
If you're underneath, it's red coloured, really bright red, and under lights, it's got some sort of chemical in it that parts of the light.
Yeah,
it's a Japanese made thing for fishing under lights, really.
Yeah, it's very clever.
And you can actually see where your line is.
Brilliant. So it's good. I mean, I think you were using Esther before I did, and I think certainly seeing yourself fish with it inspired myself to give it a go. And so I appreciate that. I mean, from a personal level of just come to my mind then of just thinking about learning stuff. I remember going out for garfish with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was a big learning curve for me because I'd never targeted garfish before. This was back in 2016, 2017.
Yeah, something like that. Or West Hill, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And it was we were casting out and trying different techniques and stuff, and you were telling me how the garfish will swipe at it, and then you got to
they leave it, then you've got to just stop reeling.
Yes. And strike again. And that was stuck with me until now. So it's there's been a few different moments like that.
Is that the day you said, "Oh, what are you going for now?" And I said, "A bass." You said, "How are you going to get one in midday in the bright sunlight?"
You like to bring that one up, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
The story is that I said it'd be ridiculous to catch a bass. It was bright sunshine, and Maurice cast over to the corner and caught one straight away, as he does. It was very good, and I learned to shut up. So that was good. So back to the setups and things. I mean, what sort of lures are you? Any particular favourites you got at the moment? I know it's winter, so it's harder, but anything you've been using over the last year or so that you've liked?
Yeah, I like a nano agi.
The metals.
Yeah, the spoony shape.
Yeah,
I think what they called agi.
Yeah, the nano agis.
Nano agis.
Yeah. I mean, there's that great
good
picture.
For garfish. I had a big, massive garfish. I know that photo don't really show how big it was because it's a job to fit in. Really, just like
of course
a big eel, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the photo that Maurice is talking about was recently shared by Magecraft themselves, and it's a lovely image of the nano agi right in the jaw of the gar.
Right in the scissors.
Right in the scissors. Perfect hookup. Which I mean, they're not an easy fish to hook up.
No,
a lot of the
that's
time,
right.
So
I think I lost 3 or 4 before that.
You always do.
Small ones.
Yeah.
In fact, a seagull went off with one. As I lifted it out the water, it was gone.
But that was in January, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
we've had a really good
last week.
Yeah, we've had a good gar run this year, particularly in Cornwall. Some really good.
And we went to Meva and just looking over the top.
Yeah.
Well, there was massive shoals of them.
Was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been there for a couple of weeks. Now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been amazing to see the seas are alive at the moment. They still
are.
Yeah.
In the past, I've been in Millbay Docks in February.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether they're just all shoaling up to move out or whatever, but there's been literally thousands. It's impossible not to catch one.
It's quite an incredible sight.
Yeah, it is in February. You just go out because you want to be out, not expecting to get nothing, and then you're like in amongst a multitude of gar.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And I'm going to say they're nice that they're still around. So good fighting fish on on LRF.
The old tail walking.
Yeah, it's good fun. Though it's just a shame they stink.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Scales and
your gear gets covered in scales and slime. That's brilliant. And so that answers that. Would you say what was your all-time favourite lure? Obviously, I think I asked you before, and you might have said black minnow. But what's your? Yeah,
it is in the modern lure.
Yeah.
I think if I was going to go for a metal over the years, it would be like a Dexter.
Yeah.
Would be the main thing.
Dexter wedge.
Or red gill in lots of different sizes and colours.
Little sand eels,
was our eel. Or there used to be another one that I think it was made by a firm in Plymouth. So I had to call it West Ender or East Ender.
Okay.
I've got 2 left.
Have you really?
But
vintage.
Yeah, I think they would still catch brilliantly now.
I'm sure they would.
But we used to catch bass on them over at Brixham Bay off the rocks.
Yeah, amazing. Fantastic.
Or hard lures used to be like J13s and J12s.
What's a J13? What's that?
That's a jointed.
Okay, like a jointed minnow?
Plug, yeah.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. So you would have used those for, bass?
Bass, yeah, mainly.
Brilliant. And I mean, obviously those sort of things, they go in that fashion and stuff. You've got obviously the IMA.
They're worth a lot of
now.
money now.
Yeah, they are.
Original.
It's getting mounted.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say, the last time I interviewed you, we talked about corkwing and ballon as being your favourite species. Obviously, big, little, and large. Has that changed? Do you have any new ones?
I would say for like size of a fish, I would say that was it 2 seasons ago when we got into the Couch's Bream.
Yeah.
Scaled down tackle. If they grew to like 3 or 4 pound inshore, that would be some...
Be incredible.
Some battle, wouldn't it?
It would. Because we were catching little diddy ones, really, aren't they?
We are, yeah.
But they were, because obviously we're using such light tackle, you get a great fight out.
Yeah, we're only on a 3 gram rod,
That's
isn't it?
Yeah.
In a tiny metal or
a
cheb. And it's a great scrap, isn't it?
Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, you do get them bigger offshore, but
That's right.
It's the young ones that come in.
Yeah.
And they are quite fairly straightforward to catch if you can locate them. They're quite aggressive.
Yeah, it's like any fish, really. It's finding where it is to start with.
Definitely. And so that leads me into, actually, I was going to talk about that, because obviously we've had a couple of really good sessions, actually, on the Breen. I thought, the one that sort of sticks in my mind, we were down in Cornwall, and casting off the harbour there, and that was lovely down. You were catching couches bream, black bream.
That's right. Yeah, that was a good evening.
Some mackerel as well. Yeah,
and I had the nice bass as well, didn't I?
You did, and we won't forget that. And but that was a lovely, lovely evening. We also had them when we were down in Plymouth, obviously.
That's right. I had 17 in one
season.
One season, yeah.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Really, really good. And what's sort of your main tactics for them?
Several different, really. It's a case of, like with any other fish, you just mix and match until you get into them. But I did have a holiday in Spain, which taught me quite a lot about bream species.
Yes.
Not only are they ravenous and they'll rip every lure you put on to shreds, but I did find they liked bright oranges and pinks, and so over here was a pink or orange Shirazi.
Yes.
On a cheb or on a drop shot. That used to do quite well, but like you had them on the tiny metals that night.
Tiny metals, yeah, but I had
1.5 gram metals.
Yeah, that's it. But my first one I had was on an orange Shirazi.
Yeah, that they seemed to.
Yeah, so
that seemed to be the nice colour.
It was, yeah. Well, that was a really special evening, actually. The fish were.
Yeah, because we didn't know nothing much, didn't realise then, did we?
No, we had
Till
no
I hooked
idea.
a few and I thought, hello, this is different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was lovely, and so we were actually looking on. I think we were heading back into the harbour to go for something else, and then just had a couple of casts there, and it turns out we found a shoal of them. It's fantastic. That was a really, really good time. And obviously, I'll be remiss really not to mention. I mean, you had a fantastic. We talked about the bream. So it's common bream. You went up with Steve, was it?
With Steve, yeah.
Yeah, Steve Dennis. So who's been driving you about a lot.
Yeah, but it's just my second time at course fishing, really.
Yeah, it's just second time.
Yeah, as it goes, isn't it? It's like luck of the draw. But I did. It's a bit of luck, but it's a bit of watercraft as well, because I did spot the.
Yeah, so just a
like lily pads that were moving, and the bubbles started to rise, and the water muddied up, so it was obviously fish rooting around for something to eat on the bottom. So I thought, could be a tench.
Yes.
But casting over, all of a sudden, bang! 1 minute I was one side of the canal, the next minute I was over this side in the bulrushes.
Amazing.
It's a massive break curve in my 3 gram agito.
Yeah, incredible. It was a really big bream.
Oh, massive, man.
Yeah.
The second one was bigger.
I'm about to say you had 2 in a row.
Yeah. But Steve said, what are you going to do for an encore? I said, I'm going to cast her and get another one. He just laughed. And honestly, I never dreamt I was going to get another one.
Of course. And what, you caught that one on a...
That was on...
Easy Shiner?
Easy Shiner in...
Morning Dawn.
Morning Glory. Well,
Morning Glory?
Morning Dawn, yeah. Don't have Morning Glory. You have to delete that.
You'd have to have a different one. But, Morning Dawn.
That's a different lure.
Yeah, but Morning Dawn. And I think I was just on a jig head, wasn't it? Just casting that around.
Yeah,
probably for perch and pike.
On a sproul jig head.
Yeah, but they're good, they are.
Yeah, because they have decent hooks, haven't they?
They do. And so that was on Tivy Canal with Steve Dennis, obviously. You tried a couple of times. You've had some pike and stuff out there as well?
Yeah, I had a couple of nice pike. Lost some beauties.
As you do.
But as you do on a 3 gram rod.
Of course.
It's a bit crazy fishing for a rod with 3 grams. But
yes.
You don't know what you're going to get, do you?
No, exactly. And often you hook the biggest fish on the lightest tackle often.
That's right.
The way. Yeah. And, well, speaking of obviously big fish, I mean, one thing I think this happened after maybe a year or two after we interviewed last time, and that was your flounder you had on the Black Minnow.
Oh yeah, that was on the slipway.
Yeah, in Plymouth. So that was obviously just casting out into murky water, wasn't it?
It was really dirty, and I thought, well, I've just been to Simon's, which is Osborne and Craig's. Better give him a
shout out, yeah.
Bit of a shout out. And I thought, dirty water, I'll get black minnows, and he just got some in the...
They're really brightly coloured, wasn't it? It's like a rhubarb and custard kind of
Yeah,
colour.
that's what they call them, isn't
it?
Yeah, rhubarb and custard.
Yes.
That's the word.
It's really bright. And I remember seeing that fish, and that was an incredible find.
Yeah, it was a beauty, yeah.
And it was late season as well. It was like March time,
It was March, yeah.
So that's a late flounder, really. That's really, really good. And so you had that, just casting
bounce in the bottom, yeah.
And just had a big hit.
Yeah, maybe sometimes I'll do that for bass or...
Yeah. It's a good tactic for everything, really.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That they somebody put a post on there about trying to catch a certain species.
Yeah.
And it's a shoaling species.
Yes.
And because they can't see them on the surface, they think that they're not there. You know, it's a bit like mackerel.
Yes.
If they're not on the surface, bounce something on the bottom.
Yeah.
The same as Brixham, you fish there. A lot of people say, "Oh, no mackerel around." You cast it at the bottom, you're in right away.
Yeah.
Because they're out of either the sunlight.
Yes.
Or the cold top layer.
Exactly. We never know what's going on. You've got to search the water layers.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've recommended that a million times. Probably, again, probably learned it from you. But the bump in the bottom technique has just been with almost any lure. You can, as long as you've got clean ground.
That's right.
You can get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the black minnows, obviously, you can bring.
Yeah, you can fish at pretty much
anywhere you like. Really.
Anywhere, really. Yeah.
Yeah, if you made of money, you don't mind losing.
Yeah, well, yeah. They don't last very long.
No, sometimes, but that was a really good fish, and I wanted to sort of finish up talking about some of my favourite catches, and obviously it's one that you've shared a few photos of a few times. But I want to talk about the dragonette.
Oh, that was a beast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'll never ever catch another one.
No,
that size.
That was
that got to be 9 inches.
It was huge.
Because my fist is 4 inches, and it was quite so much.
It was an absolute beast. So go through that. I think I've probably spoken about it with Rich and Joe on the podcast before, but I mean, I wanted to sort of get your
well, I think you
I spotted
you
it.
Cited it, didn't you?
Yeah. But I was using a lure that wasn't really appropriate at the time for.
Well, I don't think I was really in a straw tail, was it?
Yeah.
I had a straw tail on with a size 12 long shank up.
Yeah.
And I think it was the second cast. I cast over the top of it and just slowly brought it back. And I thought, oh, the lure's disappeared, but it seemed to be underneath him, whether he sat on it first.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it started to move away.
Yes. He struck into it, and it gave actually quite a good fight.
He did, yeah. He took line to start with. For a dragonette, they're pretty docile.
They are, yeah. I mean, most dragonets, though, well, the biggest I've caught is probably about 6 inches long. They're not, not a big
it's
fish.
quite rare, isn't they? The race.
Yeah, but the ones,
small.
Yeah, you normally see the big ones in deeper waters. They'll catch them.
Yeah, that's right.
Because but this one was at night in Cornwall, in shallow water, and honestly, it was one of the best looking fish I've ever seen.
Yeah, same here. I think that was my catch of that.
Yeah.
That season, to be honest.
I was really pleased to see you. Obviously, I was just as
you were so excited. I thought, if I don't move away, he's going to kiss me or something here.
I could have. I was so pleased.
Yeah, it's like that time when you lost that.
The fin-lip mullet.
Yeah, the mullet. Oh, I thought you
weren't going to bring that up.
I thought you were going to smash your rod in half.
Oh man, that was honestly one of the most painful fishing experiences.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I was
Your face was.
Yeah, I forgot I was with you at that point.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
I'll always remind you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, you're such a good friend.
I don't forget anything.
No, not at all. But that was that was painful. Lost a very good fin-lip mullet, and that was on a metal as well.
It was, yeah.
It would have been an incredible catch. But
1.5 grams, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah. But there we go. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But you, I was really pleased with the dragonette. Thanks for bringing up that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can wrap it up here. But I really appreciate your time, and
it's all right. Been great.
Good chatting to you.
Pleased that I've been asked to be on the first.
Yeah,
issue. I feel quite honoured, really.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, we're honoured to have you.
Just hope I can carry on fishing, and we have a few more days out.
Definitely. Well, we're going to go for a fish now.
Yep.
And hopefully we catch a few. But anyway, thanks for listening.
Okay, bye now.
The Big Lerf Podcast, talking LRF and more.